Hello and welcome to another episode of Driving the Classics. This is our third installment of a three-part series reviewing the first three videos that we posted here on Driving the Classics. We've gone through 1 and 2 and I hope you've enjoyed those, and if you haven't, I invite you to go back and watch those. They're pretty interesting. There's some good history on it. We feature some car shows and some really interesting segments on those. So I invite you to go back and watch those if you haven't. So this is our third installment, our third review of that third episode. So we hope you enjoy it. If you have any comments, any questions, anything you want to post regarding these episodes, I completely invite you, whether it's positive or negative, because we always want your feedback, and because we want to make this the best channel that we can for our viewers. So with no further ado, here is episode 3. I hope you enjoy.
1, 2.
Today we are at the 14th annual Heroes and Hot Rods Veterans Day show here in Bastrop, Texas. We're going to be featuring some of the vehicles that are here today. It's a very large show, very exciting. We're going to talk to some of the owners of these vehicles and then later on move into the history of those. For instance, like here behind us, we have a 1956 Studebaker Golden Hawk, one of my favorites, either a 56 or 57. But what we like to do is focus on these, just like I did in our previous episode of the Studebaker Commander, to be able to tell you a little bit about the history of these vehicles, because they were very ahead of their time. So come along with us and hope you enjoy it. Today we're here with Judy and Terry and their beautiful 1969 Oldsmobile Cutlass S. Judy, you were telling me a story about how y'all came about this. You know, what's the story behind this car?
Well, when we first got out of college, we needed a new car, and we bought a 69 Cutlass. It cost $3,000 was all at that time, and went through our life with, kids and businesses, and of course went through several Oldsmobiles. We've always liked those Oldsmobiles. And then we couldn't have an old car for a long time because we were too busy. We didn't have the money. When we retired, we went shopping for an Oldsmobile, and this is what we ended up with. We drive all over the United States with it. We put, 35,000 miles on it. We've been to Florida. We've been to Washington State. We're with the National Car Group, CHVA. Get them in here. And once a year, we go somewhere on a trip. We just got back from Wyoming on a 2-week trip with it. Your turn.
About 4,000 miles. Every year, 3, 4, 5,000 mile trip. We've had it all over the United States.
Nice. Well, how long have y'all had this particular one?
10 years, I guess.
10 years. And did y'all have to do any restoration, any work on it?
No, bought it pretty well modified, or pretty well cleaned up, fixed up. I've put, disc brakes and stuff. Made it a little better of a driver.
Shoulder belts. I insisted on shoulder belts.
There you go. Yep. Okay.
We got it off of eBay, right?
We were on a car trip and realized we were about 30 miles from one I'd been watching on eBay. So we went over and looked at it. She made me buy it.
Very nice. All right, well, I appreciate the information, and that's a great story. That's really what I'm looking to get, and because there's a story behind every car. So, all right, well, thank y'all very much. In 1968, Oldsmobile fully redesigned their entire A-body line, which included the Cutlass models. The new F-body design was built on two different wheelbases. 112 inches for the two-door Cutlass S styles and 116 inches for the Cutlass Supreme four-door. The new coupes looked bulkier than before, although they were just a few inches shorter. Their shape now bore a resemblance to the Pontiac Firebird. Oldsmobile took a new approach with its engines for 1968, recognizing that most customers didn't drive hard enough to take advantage of the potential that the previous engines had. Oldsmobile lengthened the stroke of its 1968 V8 engines, combined with lower numerical axle ratios and a new camshaft design to improve low-end and mid-range torque. Oldsmobile had promoted this idea in 1967 with the L66 Turnpike Cruiser option for the Cutlass, which had a low-revving two-barrel version of the 400 cubic inch V8 and a tall 2.56 rear axle. Now they applied the same idea to the rest of the 1968 line, including the 442. While the new Cutlass was not racy or assertive enough to snare a lot of the Pontiac fans, they went over quite well with the Oldsmobile buyers. Following up on the somewhat quirky 1968 styling, Cutlass designers developed a new front appearance for the 1969 model that would, with annual variations, mark the popular Cutlass through 1972. While most 1968 through 72 Cutlass buyers chose the V8 series standard 350 cubic inch engine, a very limited number selected the inline 6 offered through 1971. During 1968 through 71, the 442 was a separate performance series. These cars are typically excellent performers that demonstrate the qualities and engineering that would drive Oldsmobile to a third place in the industry by 1972. Sharing many of the parts with the highly collectible 442 models, the 1968 through 72 Cutlasses are well served by the reproduction market parts vending. While most muscle car customers prefer GTOs, Firebirds, or the new Plymouth Roadrunner of the day, most Olds buyers were happier with the Cutlass S and Cutlass Supreme, which combined sporty looks with sedate performance and a big car ride. In today's collector market, most Cutlass enthusiasts seek out the 442 model. But for a less expensive option, the Cutlass S or the Cutlass Supreme is a very good choice for the money. We're here with Cody and his 1985 Buick Grand National. It's a beautiful car. I know he's done some work on it. And so, Cody, tell us a little bit about the car. Well, how long you've had it, what the history is, and what do you enjoy about this car?
So it's an 85 Grand National. Started off its life as a hot air setup, if you will. So I converted it probably about 10, 11 years ago into the cold air 86, 87 setup. Ran that for about a year and a half, wiped the cam low in it. About 10 grand to get a good built LC2 engine. So I took the new school 3800 Series 2, grabbed a cheap junkyard block, threw it in, put supported heads, small cam in it. So that's been running. It was a 100,000 mile block when I put it in. Spent $200 on it. It's been running for about 9 years now. Right around 600 horse of the tire. Done pretty much anything you can think to do. New fuel pump. Got got a 62, 66 billet wheel turbo, 3.5-inch downpipe, external wastegate. Put a new 4-inch race intercool on it this past year. New radiator, electric fans. Fabbed up an air intake box, 4-inch intake. Just put an external fuel pressure regulator and custom fabbed some mounts for billet fuel rails. Downside is now that it's Series 2, everything is custom, one-off. Nobody has anything for it. So really just non-stop entertainment, if you will.
Well, what is it about the Grand National that drew you towards it?
It's Grand National. Everybody knows what Grand National is.
Exactly.
No, I mean, ever since I saw the G-bodies, you know, the first car I wanted to buy was the Monty SS. My buddy ended up getting it before I got it. He still has it. So from that time, I was always looking for a Grand National, something G-body. Since I knew what a turbo was and what a turbo did, I tried to turbo everything. So the Grand National just fit into that. So it's really just, you know, it's a love-hate relationship with all things hot rodding or all things mechanical. So I've thought about selling it over the years, and then my wife says if you sell it, I don't want to hear about you bitching about it for the next 15 years. So can't bring myself to let it go, so I just continue to dump money into it.
Awesome. All right, well, Cody, I do appreciate it, and I love them. They're very unique vehicles. Thank you so much.
Yep, no problem.
This is a segment I call Buying the Classics Cheap, where I scour the internet looking through tons of used car classified ads, searching for cars from the years 1955 to 1976, with pricing ranging between $2,500 and $6,000 that are in fairly good shape. These are great starter cars for someone who is really wanting to get into the collector car hobby but doesn't know where to start. There are tons of cars all over the country that people are just selling, but they're not at classic car pricing. So take a look at what we found to see the different varieties that you can find on the internet to get started into this wonderful hobby.
And so here we have the modern day cars, the modern day vehicles, or our modern day transportation. Of course they're nice. They've got all the modern conveniences and technology. They've got all the things that we want as a consumer in these vehicles now. We have dual climate control, heated and cooled seats. We have sunroofs. And some of these cars may even have built-in Wi-Fi connection for our daily internet use. We know we have to have that all the time. But look at them. They all look the same. Yeah, they've got style, they look good, they're aerodynamic. But if you look at today's cars, there's very subtle differences between the brands. They become a tool, they become utilitarian, a utility. That's even stated in the term sports utility vehicle. They're great to have. But in the days, the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, the cars didn't drive themselves. The cars didn't park themselves. The cars didn't have rear view cameras. Heck, some of them didn't even have AC at the time. But the drivers had a connection to them. The owners had a connection to those vehicles. They could become one with them because you could feel the road. It took some skill to drive these cars. And you had a relationship with your vehicle. Plus the unique styling of each brand. Even between General Motors cars, you could tell a Pontiac and you could tell a Buick and you could tell the difference between an Oldsmobile and a Chevrolet. Because every model, every brand was unique. Even from the smaller models, for instance, you get into the 60s and you have the Novas, the Chevelles, the Impalas. They all had their own personality and unique characteristics. You don't have that today. That's our episode, so I appreciate you watching. Again, if you like what you saw, would you please subscribe, and you also hit the alert down there. Also, we have links to how you can email me, contact me. We also have a Facebook channel that I have a link down below at. If there's something you'd like us to feature, please contact me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So we want to make this the best channel as we possibly can. So if you're watching it and you want us to do something, we'll definitely work on doing that. So again, thank you for watching Driving the Classics, and we'll see you next time. Well, that was it for our three-part series on reviewing the first 3 episodes of Driving the Classics. Hope you enjoyed it. And again, if you did enjoy it and you haven't subscribed, I will always invite you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on all the videos, and ring that bell if you want updates every time we upload a new video. We want to let you know how much we appreciate you as a viewer. We appreciate you as a patron to our site, and we will always appreciate you as a car enthusiast. That's what we're here for. We're here to promote that lifestyle, to be able to preserve the classic cars in this country. Well, thank you for watching, and I will always invite you to drive your passion. I will see you next time on Driving the Classics.